is just the very, very upfront basics. You have an end zone, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's the center of the field. Then it goes 40, 30, 20, 10, end zone on the other side. And that's how you differentiate. You can say our half, their half, or you can say, our 25-yard line, their 25-yard line, things like that. That is how you make that determination. The league is divided into two conferences, the AFC and the NFC. The AFC stands for the American Football Conference, and the NFC stands for the National Football Conference. Each conference is divided into 4 divisions. And here is the image I downloaded. Obviously, it's a little bit out of date with some of the team logos, but in the AFC East, you have the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and the New York Jets. In the AFC North, you have the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the AFC South, you have the Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. And finally, in the AFC West, you have the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Moving over to the NFC, you have the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Washington Football Team. That is their logo from before they rebranded the franchise. Then in the NFC North, you have the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, and the Minnesota Vikings. In the NFC South, you have the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Finally, in the NFC West, you have the Arizona Cardinals, the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Seahawks is the team that I am personally a fan of. Moving on to the players. Each team is allowed 11 players on the field at a time. One team on offense, the other on defense. The offense consists of a quarterback, a running back, wide receivers, a tight end, a center, and offensive linemen. The defense is made up of defensive linemen, linebackers, cornerbacks, and safeties. Special teams is for skilled players that don't fit standard offensive or defensive roles. The two most common special teams positions are punters and kickers. Now we get into scoring, the meat and potatoes of American football. At the start of the game, the defending team kicks the ball to the receiving team. This is called the kickoff. The goal of the offense is to progress the ball to the defending team's end zone. The ball can be moved either by passing it or running it. The offense has 4 attempts to progress the ball 10 yards. If they are unable to get 10 yards in their 4 attempts, the ball is turned over to the defending team at the spot the ball last was. One attempt at progressing the ball is called a down. If the offense is able to successfully move the ball 10 yards forward, their downs reset. This is referred to as a first down. So you might hear this frequently is like first and 10. That means it's your first attempt and you have 10 yards to go to the next down or to get the first down. And then let's say you progress the ball 3 yards on that first attempt. You would then say that it is 2nd and 7. And then let's say you went 6 yards. You would say it is 3rd and 1, etc. Due to the fact that a failed 4th down conversion turns the ball over to the other team, a majority of 4th downs consist of the ball being drop kicked or punted to the defending team to get it deeper into their side of the field, giving the opposing offense a harder time to score. So really, except in a few circumstances, you really only have 3 attempts to get that first down. Now, if your team is losing quite badly and it's a desperate do-or-die situation, sometimes you will attempt to progress the ball on 4th down instead of just kicking it to the other team. But again, the most common 4th down play is a punt. Scoring continued. If the team with the ball gets it into the opposing team's end zone, either by running or passing the ball, they score a touchdown, which is worth 6 points. After a touchdown, the scoring team can either attempt to kick the ball through the upright posts for 1 extra point, or they can attempt another regular play that will award 2 points if they get the ball into the end zone again. If the team on offense kicks the ball through the upright posts, but not after scoring a touchdown, they will be awarded 3 points. This is called a scored. For instance, if an offensive player who is in possession of the ball gets tackled into their own end zone, the other team is awarded 2 points. This is called a safety. A safety. Now, it is very rare, but if a safety happens during a 2-point conversion attempt, it is only worth 1 point. If a defensive player gets the ball from an offensive player, either via interception or fumble, and runs it into the opposing team's end zone, they will be awarded a touchdown and be able to attempt an extra point or 2-point conversion. I basically just included that to point out that defensive players are able to score. An interception is when a quarterback, in the process of passing the ball, the pass gets picked off by a defensive player. They catch it instead of the intended receiving target. And then a fumble is when a player just drops a ball while still in play, whether it's because they got tackled particularly hard or maybe they just, dropped it because they didn't have a good grip on the ball. The location of the ball when it stops its forward progression marks the line of scrimmage for the next play. No player can cross the line until the ball is snapped. Also, as soon as the quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage, he is no longer allowed to attempt a forward pass. Clock. Although the game is comprised of 4 15-minute quarters, there are many circumstances under which the clock stops. The average NFL game lasts over 3 hours, so obviously the clock isn't always running. To the right is a list of actions which will result in the game clock stopping. So those actions are an incomplete pass, which is a pass by a quarterback that is not intercepted but does not result in a catch by its intended target. If a player in possession of the ball goes out of bounds, if the possession of the ball changes to the other team, if a penalty on the field occurs, if either team scores, if a coach calls a timeout, or if there is an injury. Those are the most common reasons that the game clock will stop. After a play ends, the team on offense will have 40 seconds to put the ball into play or snap it. If they fail to do so, the team will be assessed a delay of game penalty. There is a 12-minute intermission between the second and third quarter. This is called halftime. So the first and the second quarter is referred to as the first half of the game, and the third and fourth quarter are referred to as the second half of the game. And you'll hear some teams referred to as first half or second half teams sometimes, and that just means that they perform better either early or late in the game. Penalties. If a player commits a penalty, one of the referees will grab a yellow yellow flag from their pocket and toss it onto the field. It is very similar to the yellow card system in soccer, although American football does not have a red card, although players can be ejected from the game. To the right is a list of not all, but the most common penalties. And those most common penalties are false start, holding, offside, also get awarded an automatic first down, or sometimes they get to replay the down. So if the penalty occurs on second down, sometimes they'll just automatically get reset to a first down, or sometimes they get a second attempt at that second down. And if the offense commits penalties, they get pushed further back from the opponent's end zone. And that's how you can get circumstances where, let's say it's second down, but the team has to go 30 yards to get a first down or something like that. That's where those sort of ridiculous things come from. And that is the end. So I hope that is helpful for those of you who aren't as familiar with the National Football League, whether that's because you're not an American or you're a fan of, different sports, things like that. I hope you did find that helpful. For those, the person who requested this, I hope that this was informative for you and that you enjoyed it. Again, any comments, additions, corrections, please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear it. Again, I am no expert. This is just my understanding as a fan of the game. And again, I didn't look any of this up. I was just, kind of writing out what I knew off the top of my head. So if I forgot something, and it's likely that I did, please inform me. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up.